Detroit done through and through. Welcome back, Steve here. As you can see, I'm unfortunately flying solo. They got my guy Will working today, so had to get on here, knock out an episode all by myself. So not ideal, but business has to continue. Before we get going, hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. Closing in on 5,000. Help us get there. Let us be your go-to content, your go-to source for Detroit Lions football. It will be much appreciated, and thank you very much if you choose to subscribe. This episode's kind of coming from a member where we did a live show the other day, and we were kind of going back and forth, answering some questions with some members, and I said something on a live show that if any good topics came, we would try to spit it into an episode. And someone had asked, how do I feel the Lions draft went compared to the NFC North, our division? And I'm going to put another little spin on that at the end. So I'm just going to go through a little bit of the other teams in the division, what they did in the draft. I'm not going fully in depth. I'm not breaking down every single one of their players that they got. Just kind of got a list here that I'm going to go no order. I'm just going to start with Minnesota. I think they obviously had they probably drafted the most guys that people have heard of, starting with JJ McCarthy, trading up to pick 10 to get him, and then Dallas Turner also in the first round. So here's the thing. Yeah, Minnesota got their quarterback of the future, they hope. I'm not going to come on here and bash JJ McCarthy. I've said a lot of good things about him. But here's my main question. Is JJ McCarthy better than Kirk Cousins? I think eventually he will be. I think eventually he's more athletic. He can make more plays with his legs. But Kirk Cousins is just like Jared Goff, one of those dying breeds of quarterbacks where, they're just lethal in the pocket. They can get through their reads, get through their progressions. So is JJ better than Kirk Cousins? It's obviously a no for me right now. It's just hard to say that an unproven rookie is going to come in and be better than a guy who was playing, at a Pro Bowl caliber level like Kirk Cousins was. And some were even saying, possibly an MVP. He was playing that good before he tore his Achilles last year. So I don't think they upgraded their initial day one quarterback position. Like, yeah, he's better than, the other guys that they were throwing out there. Nate Mullins. Yeah, JJ is better than them. Let's not, twist things a little bit. But anytime you got Justin Jefferson on your team, like, you don't really need an elite quarterback, I don't think. Like, maybe I'm not trying to downplay it, but it kind of, I get that's kind of how it sounds. But JJ and Justin Jefferson, like, Justin Jefferson's one of the elite players all around in football. It sucks that he's in our division, but they're going to have to pay him pretty soon. They're going to have to pay Justin Jefferson somewhere around $40 million a year. And that can handicap a team. So let's see how the future plays out with Minnesota. But I don't think they upgraded at quarterback as of yet. I think it'll take JJ a couple years. I also have said that I don't think JJ is a day one starter. I don't think he should come in day one and be ready to start. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Minnesota is going to want him to be the guy right away. And that can hurt JJ. And I can't say that I'm cheering for him now he's in the division, but as a Michigan fan, it's tough because I think JJ went to a good position, but I just think Minnesota is going to throw him right to the Wolves week one. I just don't think that they can go in there with Sam Darnold and get solid quarterback play, even with Justin Jefferson. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how that all shakes out. And then obviously they drafted Dallas Turner. And the question for me is he better than Danielle Hunter? I think it's just the same situation. Like, I think eventually, like, Dallas Turner is going to be pretty good, but is he ever going to put up the solid numbers like Danielle Hunter was? I don't think so. And I know that Dallas Turner plays outside linebacker and Danielle Hunter is more of a defensive end, but just the production, I don't think Dallas Turner is ever going to get 17 sacks like Danielle Hunter was getting. So I don't think I think they just kind of replaced what they lost, if that makes any sense to you guys. And the cornerback out of, I'll just touch on it real quick. Kyrie Jackson, the corner out of Oregon, very tall. I think he's like 6'4", but I just don't see elite athleticism from him either. So that's what the Vikings did. And obviously those are just their 3 picks. They got more, but like I said, I'm not going to do a full breakdown. I'm going to give some opinions on the Lions when I'm done. Let's get to the Chicago Bears. Obviously, we all know what they did in the draft. Round 1, pick 1, Caleb Williams. No surprise there. Again, quarterbacks come into the league. It doesn't mean that – I'm not going to say that Caleb Williams is going to be a bust, but I think a lot of people are just thinking that he's going to be like the greatest quarterback. And I've heard the Patrick Mahomes comparison. And I don't like to compare. When you're talking about Patrick Mahomes, you're talking about the absolute best quarterback in the league right now. Comparing a rookie who hasn't even touched an NFL football, played on an NFL field, comparing him to the greatest quarterback in the league is just absolutely bananas to me. Um, I think Caleb is going to struggle. I don't know why they got rid of Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields was playing pretty good for the Bears, but I'm a Lions fan, so I like to see these quarterback shakeups, and I get it what they're trying to do. They're trying to reset the QB salaries there in Chicago and get that reset the clock there and get that 5 years on a cheap deal for a quarterback. But is he going to be better than Justin Fields? I don't know. I guess time will tell. It's not my problem. I'm a Lions fan. I don't want to see Caleb Williams overly succeed, but I don't know. I think he's going to struggle. I mean, you're coming from the Pac-12 where they don't play a lot of defense. Like the Pac-12 is not known for defense. They got flashy offenses. I mean, I'm curious to see what happens with Caleb Williams when he goes against a really, really good defense. I want to see that week in, week out. When you come from college, and Caleb Williams is known for his athleticism and being able to make and extend plays with his legs. But in the NFL, everyone's fast. In the NFL, everyone's prepared. They all know what you're going to do. I'm curious to see how his college game, where he was electric, he was fun to watch, but I want to see how that translates to the NFL. I have a lot of questions. I don't think he's a pocket passer. I don't think he's good or elite throwing the ball. I think he's just a very, very phenomenal athlete. And say what you want. And I have a question. I don't know. I'm really not trying to bash the other teams, but I'm trying to give a fair and unbiased opinion here. But Roma Dunze in the top 10, and Roma Dunze was, in my opinion, like I said, I think he was the number one receiver. That's the guy. If I was the Lions and I needed a receiver and I was in that position, I'm taking Roma Dunze as well over Marvin Harrison Jr. Call me crazy. I like that he plays like a dog. But my question for the Bears is, they have DJ Moore, they have Keenan Allen. You really needed a wide receiver 3 instead of something else, maybe on your offensive line or something defensively. That's where I have a question. I'm not dogging Roma Dunze at all. I think he's an absolute stud, but I just don't think he was a need for the Chicago Bears, like a wide receiver 3, when you could have maybe done something on defense, maybe an edge rusher. You guys could have been in the mix for Dallas Turner. I don't know. Or maybe shore up your offensive line and secure up the number one quarterback you guys just drafted, interior alignment. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me to draft a third wide receiver for the Bears. And also, they drafted a punter in the 4th round. I think that can tell you how I feel about the Chicago Bears draft. Punter, round 4. I don't know. Doesn't make a lot of sense. All right, let's get to the Green Bay Packers. I think the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions are obviously going to be fighting for the NFC North this year. I think it's going to come down to those two teams. Packers had kind of like a draft that the Lions had, an ugly draft where they're pretty set on offense. They went out and drafted Jordan Morgan from Arizona, offensive lineman. They didn't really get flashy. They drafted a couple or a running back in round 3, the kid from USC, Marshawn Lloyd. They just kind of had a very similar draft like the Lions did. Like we didn't get any playmakers. We didn't get any like those fantasy football type guys, but I think the Packers had a nice draft. It was kind of like the Lions, just an ugly draft, but sometimes that's just what you need. We just need to add some pieces. They got one of my favorite players in the draft, and Edgerrin Cooper. You guys know we were very high on him. Edgerrin Cooper, Quay Walker, linebackers for the Packers are going to be a problem. I'm not going to say that they're not. I actually really like the Packers draft, if I have to be honest, and it absolutely pains me to say that. Javon Bullard, safety out of Georgia, I thought that was a nice pick. Like I said, the kid from USC, Marshawn Lloyd, they just lost Aaron Jones, so it kind of shores up a position for them as well. Just scrolling through. Like I said, I'm not going through every single draft pick that each team made, but I think the Packers had the best draft rather than the Lions in this one. And like I've said about the Lions draft, ugly. We needed it. We didn't draft a flashy wide receiver or running back or anything sexy. Like we got guys that we needed. Terrion Arnold, Rake Straw, some offensive line. I really love what the Lions did. We didn't really have any huge glaring needs. I know a lot of people are very upset that we didn't get that quote unquote edge rusher, but I think we're going to be okay. We're going to get more into that later. But like I said, this episode's coming from a member who asked the question of who do I think is the Detroit Lions' biggest competition? I still think it's the Packers. I think it's the Packers and Lions. It's going to be a good race all season. But There's a team, and someone asked this in the live show too. How did I feel about the Los Angeles Rams taking Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, two guys I had in my top 5 defensively? And I said I was pissed, man. It actually hurt watching Jared Verse, my absolute number 1 player in this draft, going to the Rams. And then Braden Fisk was a guy that was probably number 2 on my list up until we signed DJ Reader. Then I had to slide him down a little bit because he wasn't as big of a need. They got Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, and then they went out and got our Michigan guy, Blake Corum. I like the safety that they got from Miami, Cameron Kitchens. They had a very, very good draft. And like I said, they're not in our division, but I'm just kind of talking about who I think is going to be some good competition for the Lions. I think the Eagles are going to be up there, the Niners. The Rams are going to be a sneaky good team this year that we're going to see later in the year as well as the Niners. So just based on what I'm talking about here, and I'll keep it just in the division, I still think the Lions are the top dogs. I think we're still the champs. We've had a great free agency. I think we had a better, if you put our free agency and our draft, man, we really fixed like a lot of questions on defense. And like I said, I know a lot of people aren't thrilled with our pass rush options or on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson, but me and Will have talked about it, and I'm not going to go in depth about it again. You know, there's some X factors on that other edge of Hutchinson that I'm not worried about. We got 4 guys. We're talking about Kaminsky, Pascal, Houston, and Marcus Davenport. If those 4 guys can combine for 12 sacks, we're going to be okay. And then, you know, we talked about Jet Campbell and how he played edge last year a little bit. They were kind of testing that out. He's a phenomenal blitzer from the middle. If he Melifonwu could blitz, like there's ways we can get pass rush. I think everyone needs to just kind of relax on that opposite edge of Aiden Hutchinson. Like our pass rush is going to be okay. And on top of that, our secondary is going to be phenomenal this year, I think. But like I said, just wanted to hop on here, answer that question for, I wish I could remember who it was that asked, one of our members. Fundamental questions. I just wanted to go through some of the teams in the NFC North, go through their draft. I still think the Lions are the top dogs. I'm not trying to be biased here. I think the Packers are very, very close. It's going to be a hell of a season, a hell of a race. Let's stay healthy. Let's have all 4 of these teams stay healthy. Let's just see who the best team is. And it was very interesting to me that while watching the draft, the commentators and the people on SportsCenter and ESPN and that were saying that the NFC North might be the best division in football now. I think it's going to be one of the most exciting divisions to watch. I hope the Lions obviously win the division. I hope we get those home playoff games. I hope we get that number 1 seed and we just don't have to go on the road in the playoffs and we can just, all roads lead through Detroit. So that's it for today, guys. Leave some comments down below. Hit that like button. If you're new, stick around, subscribe. Me and we'll get together in a little bit here and knock out some more episodes for you guys. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button.